What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, a little while ago, if you guys remember, EA came out and gave a little information on their plans with Battlefield and how they're going to go ahead and drop this current game. And obviously, they said that they would enjoy trying to hit the holiday seasons of this year, but if something comes out, aka GTA, they might have to go ahead and postpone until early on in 2026. Well, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, GTA came out the other day and confirmed that they are postponing the game, as you can see right here. Grand Theft Auto 6 is now coming May 26, 2026. We are very sorry that this is later than you expected. The interest and excitement surrounding a new Grand Theft Auto has been truly humbling for our entire team. We want to thank you for your support and your patience as we work to finish the game. With every game we have released, the goal has always been to try and exceed your expectations, and Grand Theft Auto 6 is no exception. We hope you understand that we need this extra time to deliver at the level of quality you expect and deserve. We look forward to sharing more information with you soon. Sincerely, Rockstar Games. Now, ladies and gentlemen, just very quickly, I do want to mention, I think this is good news right here for GTA, right? We are all on board, at least around here, with the developers getting some extra time to cook games as long as they prove that that extra time was worth it. If the game still drops in a horrible state, then yeah, it was a waste of time, and we had to wait for, I guess, the game to still be broken. So only time will tell. But bouncing back to Battlefield here, again, as I stated before, EA was discussing, like I said, their launch date, and they said if, something goes on with GTA where it gets postponed, then obviously the holiday season might be the potential launch date. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot of the Battlefield community is extremely happy right now, including myself. Don't get me wrong. I am very, very pumped with the thought that we can finally have a fresh Battlefield game, a new Battlefield game, after all of these years. It's been a drought, ladies and gentlemen. I think we can all agree this. Battlefield 2042 did a number on a lot of people within the Battlefield franchise, and it's been out forever, years and years and years. We've been waiting for something fresh to finally come through and save the day. Yeah, we can bounce back to, let's say, Battlefield 1, for example, if you want something that's still, modern enough, I guess, when it comes to technology, but it's a World War I game, and you have Battlefield 5. You can keep going back and playing Battlefield 4 and 3, but in my personal opinion, I know this is an unpopular opinion, but I think they're starting to slowly show their age. The community really wants a fresh, good Battlefield game, modern setting, and everything that we have been begging for. And I think everyone right now is beyond pumped to hear that GTA is getting postponed, because that might mean we can finally get our hands on a brand new Battlefield game. But ladies and gentlemen, there's a reason I titled this video in the way that I did, and I do want to play devil's advocate today on this specific topic, because in all reality, we are talking about EA here. And although it's phenomenal that we could potentially be getting this game earlier, and also from what I see right now in the alphas or the early playtests, it looks good. It doesn't even look like there's that many problems at this current point. But again, that's not guaranteed. Once those gates open and more and more and more players start pouring on in, then some serious problems could definitely occur, and we could be left with a game that is in a horrible, buggy, horrific spot, and we don't need that. And let's be honest here, ladies and gentlemen, Battlefield doesn't need to hold on to the reputation of the game or the franchise that literally launches busted every single time around. It doesn't need that reputation, right? Like, if we could just get one Battlefield game where it launches in a perfect state, or I shouldn't say perfect state, because like I said, I expect at least something, anything, to slightly go wrong, but in the best state possible, instead of it just seeming like they haven't done anything, they're throwing it out, and then they have to spend a year plus, resolving all the, instead of that whole cycle. If they could just launch it in a better spot, that would be 2 thumbs up from me. But the only way we can obtain anything of that sorts is if EA allows the developers to cook. And like I said, I understand the alpha or the playtest is looking very solid right now, but that does not represent the beta or even the full build of the game and what could potentially go wrong here, ladies and gentlemen. And my worries are that EA is going to just hyper prioritize all of their focus around the launch date of GTA 6 and not around how much time the developers need to truly put this game together and ship it at a good spot. I get it. It's a business. So they want to make sure that they can capitalize on a good moment, which indeed this is a good moment, right? The whole holiday season has opened up now. GTA 6 was literally going to dominate no matter what decided to drop. So that was a big factor. And if EA wants to cash out on one of their biggest franchises that they own right now, the FPS genres, then they need to make sure that they time it correctly. But sometimes, I say this all the time on this channel, and I understand it's not going to benefit them in their pockets, but sometimes if they want to make sure they can put out a good game, they can't hyper-prioritize those factors. As I said before, what if this new Battlefield game starts to run into a lot of problems, issues? It's no longer polished, and there's tons of things going wrong. But EA still wants to go ahead and touch down on that, that time frame. It's the same problem that happened with X-Defiant, right? It's like the game was not ready to be shipped. The developers knew the game wasn't ready to be shipped. But because it got so much hype during its beta, millions of people logged in, Ubisoft wanted to go ahead and capitalize on that. They weren't going to wait and allow the developers to cook and put the game in a good spot with extra content past the beta and good netcode, all the issues fixed, none of that noise. They wanted to capitalize on the fact that tons of people initially came in. They don't care about the problems. They care about how many players are tuning in. And guess what? I love X-Defiant to death. It was one of my favorite FPS games, but we all see where it's heading to right now. And personally, I don't believe it takes rocket science to tell that Battlefield should not be following that trend either. But that's not up to the developers here. And I get it. I am reaching right now. And I am excited and happy about this news because, like I said earlier, I want to get my hands on a new Battlefield game. And it looks great! I stated it many times before. For such an early build, it looks phenomenal, and I can only imagine as we go into beta and go into the full launch, if they can continue to polish, this is going to be awesome. So, if everything goes nicely here, everything I'm stating, everything I'm worried about is absolutely irrelevant. But, this is a big but it's still a reality that could happen. If something goes wrong, if this game suddenly is not ready to be shipped, suddenly needs more time in the oven, I promise you that EA is not going to take that into consideration. They will not. And that means they will force out the project in a form that is not good whatsoever, and it will push away a lot of the audience. And that is what worries me the most, and that is what I hope doesn't happen from this news. Because I know, every company out there is looking at what GTA 6 is doing, but they shouldn't give a crap because they should be more worried about the game that they are making, right? I get it. GTA 6 is going to pop. It's going to be crazy. But that doesn't mean people wouldn't be interested in a new Battlefield game either, You can still postpone it, maybe do it after GTA 6, a few months down the road. Give people some time to settle in and play GTA 6. Relax a bit. At some point in time, they will be ready for a fresh Battlefield game, and you will catch their attention more with the game that is complete and good to go over something that is rushed out the door to meet a deadline. And guess what? It will die, and then GTA 6 will definitely put it in the dirt. So I'm just hoping that scenario does not happen out of this news. But overall, if things keep going in a better way, ladies and gentlemen, we should be eating a good product very soon, fingers crossed. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell if you want to be notified with everything on this channel. Of course, I've been trying to discuss Splitgate, Battlefield, Call of Duty, trying to mix it all in here. So again, if you guys are interested in any of these games, want to hear information about it, stay up to date by all means. Like I said, subscribe and hit that bell. And of course, last but not least, I do stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch, starting between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, if you guys are interested in any of that content, I have a link to that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.